All right, beginners, now before we read our Columbus book, we are going to do an author study. This is where we find out who our author is and illustrator are. Now, an author is someone who writes the book. An illustrator is someone who does the drawings or paintings. Now, meet Ingrid and Edgar Parent-Delaire. They are our author and illustrators for the story Columbus. And just like in history, we learned about our history, we are going to take a closer look at their history. All right, beginners, so we're going to learn a little bit about Ingrid and about Edgar, all right? So it says Ingrid was born in Norway. Let's look and see where Ingrid was actually born. All right, so if we look over here on our map, where are we at? We are over here in the United States of America. See where we have the Golden Gate Bridge? We live right around here, all right? Now this is a big map and we only live in a small part on the map. All right, now Ingrid lived where? In Norway. So let's find Norway all the way over here. So we live over here and she lived over here in Norway. Now the paper goes on to say that Edgar lived in Germany. He had Swiss citizenship. He lived in Germany. So his wife lived here in Norway and he lived here in Germany, all right? Now, even though he lived in Germany, he was, his parents were from Italy. So Edgar's parents lived right here. They call it the boot, all right, because it looks kind of like a boot. Do you see the heel right there and the shoe? All right, so it looks like a boot. So his parents lived here. They got married. They went to Germany. They had Edgar. And then, all right, so it says that, so his parents were Italy. He was born in Germany. His wife was born in Norway. It says Edgar did some art studies in Germany. He illustrated, means he drew many books in Germany. That was where he was born, remember? In Germany. He painted murals in France and Norway. He painted murals. Those are big, big paintings. And he lived here in Germany. He went to France. Remember, that's where Miss Sarah lives, in France. See the Eiffel Tower? He did murals in France and where? In Norway. Right over here where his wife lived. Ingrid, so this is his wife, she studied art as well. She studied at art schools. Ooh, she had a fun life. She studied in art schools in Norway, where she was born, in Germany, where her husband was born, and in France. Remember, her husband even went to France. She went to different, 3 different art schools in Norway, Germany, and France. All right, so they met in Munich when Ingrid was going to school in Germany. So Ingrid met her husband, Edgar, when she was going to school in Germany. So where did Edgar live? He lived in Germany and she lived in Norway, all right? So she, oh, you can't miss it. So she lived right here in Norway and she took a boat all the way down to Germany. And when she was in school in Germany, she met her husband, Edgar, all right? And it said this, it said she would paint important businessmen's portraits. What's a portrait? We're gonna learn about what portrait is later on this year, but we'll learn more about it. But what a portrait is a painting of the face, all right? This is a portrait, all right? So get your hands and go like this. This is a portrait. It's a painting of the face, all right? So she would paint very important businessmen's faces for them, all right? It goes on to say they turned their talents into children's books. So what was the talent that God gave them? That's right, they were artists. He was an artist and she was an artist. It goes on to say in the early 1930s, they became US citizens and they lived in Connecticut until they died in 1970 or in 1980s. They lived in Germany after they got married, and then after they got married, later on, they moved to the United States. So let's take a look again. So Ingrid's from Norway, Edgar's from Germany. They met in Germany, they got married, and later on they ended up taking a boat and they went all the way to the United States and lived in Connecticut. So they moved to the United States. So this is about Ingrid and Edgar. They wrote, remember they used their many talents they had, and they wrote an illustrated book. So this was one of the books that they wrote and they illustrated, which is really special. So this was our author study, okay, about Ingrid and Edgar. Now, what you guys are gonna do is you guys have a map just like this, all right, and we are gonna color the map together. Now, it looks like a lot of lines and looks kind of scary, but don't worry, it's not that hard. I already have this one colored for you, okay? Oops, and it's upside down. All right, so it says Ingrid and Edgar. All right, so this is gonna be kind of the map of where they were born and where they lived or any place that they were at. All right, so if you look up right here, just like it has right here, Norway in blue. All right, so I want you to get a blue color pencil, and in very dark, we're going to color in Norway. Norway is right up here. All right, that is Norway. You can pause the button and go ahead and color Norway, and you can even have your mom or your dad write Norway on there for you. All right, so the next place you guys are gonna color in is, let's do Germany. So we're gonna get our green because Germany right here on our map is green, and we're gonna get Germany, it's right here, and we're gonna color Germany in green. Perfect. Our next one that you can do is France. And again, we have France in a different color blue. So if you have a different color of blue, get a different color of blue. And we're gonna color France in blue. Excellent job. So the next one is Italy. Who was born in Italy? Not Edgar, not Ingrid, all right, but Edgar's parents, because they were Italian. All right, so where is it? It's brown, it's the boot, as we like to call it. So right here, you're gonna look for a boot. Ooh, I found the boot, it's right here. And the boot will be brown. Now this one is today's literature, you are gonna need your parents' help because I know it's hard to see. So it's okay if you can't see the places until you color them. All right, just make sure you have your parents help you. All right, the next one that we're gonna do is Switzerland, because it said that Edgar had Swiss citizenship. Now Swiss is very, very small compared to Germany and France and Italy, and it's the tiny little red dot right there. That one is Switzerland. All right, it's the tiny one. All right, and then everywhere else, you guys get to color blue, okay? Because everywhere over here is the ocean. The other ones, the other countries, we're just gonna leave white because we're not really studying those, are we? All right, so this is today's literature. And I hope you guys enjoyed, because next week, we are finally gonna be able to start on our Columbus book, now that we know more about Edgar and Ingrid.